Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, where I do trailer reactions, I react to YouTube videos, I review YouTube channels, occasionally I'll review a movie, but really, I just do whatever the hell I want. Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude. I'm going to try something a little different on the next couple videos. I'm trying to fit the video I'm reacting to a little bit bigger on the screen, so let me know in the comments if you like this any better. I think it kind of works out a little better. Trying to get my phone taken care of here. Alright, so we're going to try one today. This is top 5 scary movies you need to pray before watching. So let's check this one out.
Hello horror fans and welcome back to the Scaries channel on...
Let me stop it. Gotta get my headphones on. Don't get old. It sucks. You forget things. Try it again.
YouTube top 5 scary videos, where I just wanted to say before we jump on into our usual horrifying diatribe, thank you all to our recent subscribers and dedicated steadfast fans of all things horror. Anyway, as always, I'll be your host Jack Finch, as today we fire up the dusty old projector and peer through the pulpit as we take a look at the top 5 scary movies you need to pray before watching. Be it the Buddha, Yahweh, Allah, Odin, Brahma, or the omnipotent presence of the universe itself, there are some horror movies out there with such demonic tones that you need to say a prayer or two just to get through them. Well, let's take a look. Kicking off at number 5, The Hallow. As you may know, I'm a huge proponent for British horror, mainly because the only...
Okay, I gotta say right off the bat, I reviewed this movie a couple years ago. There's a lot of people that love this movie. I didn't. It did not scare me one single bit. I don't think there was anything creepy about this movie. But let's see what he has to say about it.
The only thing we've really got to do over there is look out at a grey sky through a rainy window, and well, it makes for some pretty terrifying horror cinema. No more so than in 2016's The Hallow, written and directed by Corin Hardy, the man recently responsible for The Nun. Also, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, then this film stars both Joseph Maul, aka Benjen Stark, and Michael McElhatton, aka the brilliantly morose Roose Bolton. Great stuff. The Hallow plays out as a folklore tale of old, a family from the city, a newborn baby, and a malevolent creature out in the deep dark wood with strange twisted intentions. It's also a breath of fresh air from the cookie cutter creature feature that we see in modern cinema, and the departure from full-blown CGI, with instead using old school practical effects, make for some terrifying on-screen moments, bringing creatures from Irish folklore to a nightmarish reality. It's great, give it a watch. Coming in at number...
I actually did a review on that, like, I think it was actually more like 4 or 5 years ago when I first started my channel. And what I did was I used the download option on Netflix onto my tablet, and I actually went up in the canyon and watched it on my tablet. And then when I came home, I gave my review. It wasn't scary to me, even watching it alone up in the mountains. So I don't know, maybe I need to rewatch it.
For The Omen. Jeez, this film, admittedly, as I get older, the impact of The Omen becomes less and less, but there's no denying that Damien Thorne, aka the Antichrist himself, is one of the most demonically fear-inducing kids to have ever stepped on screen, and the first time you see his twisty little smile is something that you'll never forget.
I apologize, I had to mute this for copyright reasons.
Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Pretty metal, right? Well, in essence, that's what Richard Donner's 1976 on-screen demonic onslaught really is. It's a religiously charged, meandering tale that drags us along through the hallways of hell on Earth. Now, I'm talking of the wider franchise in this case because the original film starring Gregory Peck is a much more subtle and creepingly quiet beast. The strange, spacious audio track, the wide, lingering shots, and an absolutely terrifying performance from a 4-year-old boy, Harvey Spencer Stevens. I wouldn't necessarily advocate saying a prayer before you watch this film, but I wouldn't tell you not to either. Swinging in at number...
That's one that I really do need to watch. I'm ashamed that I haven't seen it. But, yeah.
3. The Wailing. Oh man, is this film good. South Korean cinema just can't seem to make a bad horror film. And at the top of that pile is The Wailing, written and directed by Na Hong Jin. In essence, this film is about spiritual belief and the inner conflict of the soul. It weaves differing, competing threads of spiritualism throughout. Shamanism, ritualistic sacrifice, and even Christianity. Boiled down further, good and evil, angels and demons. Which one ends up on top? Well, if you watch the film, you'll find an answer of your own. What you will find, though, is an occult masterpiece into the weird world of Korean folklore. This film does a pretty stand-up job at keeping you on edge throughout its lengthy 2.5-hour runtime, feeding you tiny scraps of narrative right up until the very end. Also, we haven't even talked about the murder, demon, zombies, or the exorcism, or the cave scene. Yeah, I really don't want to ruin this film for you if you haven't seen it, but take it from me, it's worth the nightmares. Coming in next at number 2, The Babadook.
I saw that.
If it's in a word.
Now, on The Babadook, it didn't really scare me very much, but I thought it was good, and I thought the acting was amazing in this movie, especially by the mother and the son. They're both really good. The son was pretty annoying in that movie, but I think he was supposed to be.
Word or it's in a look. You can't get rid of the Babadook.
Are you terrified of creepy shadow monsters that lurk behind your wardrobe door? Then please sit down in a dark room and watch The Babadook, a 2014 Australian psychological creature feature from Jennifer Kent. I say creature feature in the loosest sense because, guys, seriously, what the hell is The Babadook? I still don't know, and it's got me pretty shook. That, in essence, is the success of this film, though. The fear of the unknown, the strange, otherworldly sense that you get as a child trying to fall asleep in a bleak, unfamiliar house. It blends the supernatural with the surreal, with a pinch of native Australian folklore to boot. Plus, also, if you're a fan of the kid fighting back against the monster, then you'll be thrilled at 6-year-old Samuel, played by Noah Wiseman, who absolutely steals the show. I appreciate that people have tried to find further meaning in this film's plot, its ending in particular, and while I think that there are wider cinematic elements that tie this film's plot together, without all of that, it's just a gut-wrenching, knees-weak, palms-sweaty kind of horror movie. You know, the best kind. It's a suspenseful, slightly off story about confronting the darkness that lies within. And finally,
I wouldn't necessarily say that he steals the show, because I thought the woman that played the mother was amazing in it. They were both good.
Number 1 spot, The Witch. You know what? I get it if you don't like this film. I understand the criticism that it received. But let me tell you, you're wrong. Because this film is possibly the most unnervingly, unexplainably, brilliantly strange piece of horror cinema of recent times. It ticks every box on my list, and I'll tell you why.
Again, muted for copyright reasons. I apologize.
This film is impossibly bleak. It plays like something forbidden, something that we just shouldn't be watching, a glimpse into the long forgotten world where the devil still reigns. It begins with the banishment of a New England family in the 16th century, where we briefly get a glimpse of colonial era society and a newly found North America. But that world is soon shut off, and all we're left with is the woods and the witch. Seriously, this film does so much with so little that it's testament to Robert Eggers, the director and writer.
It actually made a star out of this girl right here. She's doing so much stuff right now. She was in the movie Split. She's been in tons of stuff. She's a good actress. But this is a movie that when I left, it stuck with me. Pretty disturbing.
as this was his first debut film, and he's fastly becoming my favourite horror filmmaker, so keep your eye out on him. Again, I really don't want to spoil this film for you, but if you laugh at the idea of being terrified of a goat, then let me introduce you to Black Phillip.
Remove thy shift.
Kicking off at number 5, The People Under the Stairs.
Okay, this is a marathon. So there's going to be more than 5. Cool.
Doing his business.
This is a classic.
You kids will be the death of me.
Damn straight, this film absolutely terrified me as a young little horror fan, and most of the terror lies within the film's twisted plot. It's a thought that burrows into your head and keeps you wide awake at night. You never know who lives next door, eh? The People Under the Stairs, released in 1991, was written and directed by horror aficionado Wes Craven, the same mastermind that brought us classics such as Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now listen, I understand, this film might seem a little weak sauce, but seriously, watch this film alone at night, let it sink in after a while, and look out across your neighbourhood and tell me you don't feel that creepy sense of dread. It involves a young kid named Fool, played by the awesome Brandon Adams, who finds himself upon the strange, twisted house of the Robesons during a planned robbery. Well, they get a little bit more than what they bargained for, put it that way. Cannibals, incest, bodies in the wall, the psychological fear of deranged parents. This cult classic is definitely one to hit on your list, and the special effects, while dated now, are the stuff of horror nightmare nostalgia. Next up at number 4, The Loved Ones.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this movie is something else. Check it out if you like gritty horror movies. The Loved Ones is awesome.
He's probably dead by now.
Sensing a theme here? Yeah, I'm not saying this list is influenced by my own internal fears, but I'm also definitely saying that. The Loved Ones is a relatively unknown 2009 Australian horror film written and directed by Sean Byrne, who also recently delivered us The Devil's Candy, a fantastic horror film with a relatively unknown cast that deserves more acclaim. When I say that The Loved One is genuinely terrifying, I really mean it, because somewhere out there is someone not so far removed from Lola and her dad. And that spells true terror. It's a basic premise, but where it does deliver are in its small, horrific moments of well-timed violent gore and psychological back and forths. It stars Xavier Samuel as Brent, a high school teen who tragically lost his father, and Robin McLeavy, who has a father but is messed the hell up. Both of who are actors who absolutely nail their roles and deliver some of the best indie horror performances that I've seen in recent years. Put it this way, imagine if Carrie and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre had a baby, then you'd get this film. Damn, I really don't want to ruin anything for you guys, but seriously, watch this film if you haven't. Now coming in at number 3, Martyrs.
I haven't seen it, but I want to. I have a really hard time with subtitles, though. I think it's a French film. I know they did a remake and people don't like the remake, but I have a really hard time with subtitles.
Again, the same with Wreck, which we covered in another recent video. Please, please, please watch the original French language version of this film and not the trashy 2015 remake. I'm all for a good remake, but that was just plain terrible. Anyway, Martyrs is a French psychological horror film released back in 2008 and written and directed by Pascal Laugier, who unfortunately hasn't seemed to hit the mark since this titan of horror cinema was released. Seriously, I'd go so far as to say this is the scariest psychological thriller released this century. If that's not worth a watch, then I don't know what is. Martyrs covers some pretty serious ground and is incredibly unforgiving in its subject matter. It was also heralded as the most divisive film to screen at the Cannes Film Festival in the year that it premiered, indicating to audiences that they would either love it or be absolutely horrified. Again, I don't want to ruin a lot for you guys simply because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to take anything away of that awful, creeping sense of dread. This film gnaws at you all the way up until the end, where one of the most insanely horrifying reveals of horror cinema takes place. Give it a go. You'll soon find out what I mean. Swinging in at our number 2 spot, Funny Games. Now, this is also another moment where I talk about remakes because there's a small twist to this reveal, because I actually don't mind which version of this film you watch. In fact, what
This is the type of horror movie, though, that's not exactly my favorite. I like the psychological or the ghost type horror movie. I like that type of thing. This is more brutal.
Watch both and enjoy them both equally because they're both fantastic, different examples of horror cinema in their own right. Both versions of the film are written and directed by the same person, and I'm fine with that. Personally, I enjoy the 2007 American remake purely because Michael Pitt is a colossus of horror. Originally released in Austrian in 1997 and written and directed by the awesome Michael Haneke, Funny Games is a psychological thriller that pits a family against two young psychopaths. Stylistically speaking, this film is an absolute pleasure to watch, which adds to that strange feeling that the film inhabits. Things may look nice on the surface, but deep below, some terrifying stuff is happening. The plot involves two young men holding a wealthy family hostage in their own summer home while torturing them and playing sadistic, funny games. This film also deals with the audience in an interesting way, suggesting that we're almost complicit with their actions, subverting the genre in a way that horror cinema rarely pulls off. One of my favourite films of all time. Go ahead and give it a watch. And finally,
that movies like that, I like them if you can see the people get what they got coming to them. And I can't remember if they do or not.
and number one spot, I Saw the Devil.
Yep, amazing. This one does have subtitles, and I was able to make it through it, and I love
Really, I did, because I saw this film. Because talking about subverting horror cinema, then like with most other things, South Korean cinema does it again. In 2010's I Saw the Devil. This film is absolutely terrifying for many reasons, but for one reason above all, it puts you in the shoes of the killer. And it's a strange, strange place to be. Directed by Kim Ji-woon, I Saw the Devil is the tale of a special detective as he embarks on the quest to avenge the death of his murdered wife at the hands of a brutal serial killer. And strangely enough, the film offers up enough space for us to begin to empathise with the killer, questioning the very integrity of the human mind. Don't tread into this film lightly, because there is some seriously handled violent content that may take you unaware, and some absolutely breathtaking special effects, really breathtaking, that give you that classic holy shit, what the hell did we just watch moment. It's a fantastic horror film and a testament to just exactly what the genre can do under the correct circumstances. Give it a watch, you won't be disappointed. Kicking off at our number...
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there for the simple fact that this channel's awesome. They've never given me a problem when I react to their videos and everything. If you want to, go and watch the rest of this on their channel. But out of those 10 movies that he mentioned, I Saw the Devil is absolutely amazing. I saw some stuff on the making of the movie too, and there's a scene, this doesn't spoil anything, where the bad guy in the movie kills some guys in a cab. He stabs them all and slices them and everything. And the camera work was really amazing in that scene. What they did is they put the cab on like a big turntable, and then they spun the car around, and then they went the opposite direction with the camera running around the car and filming it as he's slicing these guys up. It's brutal, but it's an amazing movie. The acting is so good. It has a kind of a twist at the end to makes you ask yourself, how far would you go, type thing. It's incredible. I Saw the Devil. High recommend. Now, how about a joke? You know, at this point, my body's absorbed so much sanitizer when I pee, it cleans the toilet. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hashtag MeanGene, all that fun stuff. And if you like this video, tell all your friends, leave a comment down below. And if you didn't like it, then just shut up. And I will see you next time.